we're gonna if we do continue the way we're going, I will have
Yeah, I saw that.
half an hour of.
I'll call this meeting to order.
Go for it.
The chairman is going to be he's running late, so I'm going to be starting the meeting. Start off with a roll call, starting on my left.
Tammy Smith. Peg Heard.
Dennis Woods?
Humphrey Williams.
Andy Rawson.
Bob Carrier. Justin Bell, Bennett, I can't remember, Bellin.
Yeah.
He's not going to be here tonight. He's being excused. He's at another meeting. And I believe there's somebody else missing?
David
Carpus.
Carpus, who just resigned.
Okay, well, first, we'll order of business. We're going to bring the town administrator. He's wanting to talk about the joint budget presentations that he has an idea for, and I'd like to have the committee listen to what he's got to say. This is an input from what I asked for at the meeting when I presented it to him, and I was looking for input from them. So, Mr. Town, I can't remember your last name. Okay,
Mr. Town.
Ernie's good enough, how's that?
okay.
Yeah, so, this again was an idea that came up in talking with staff about possibly having a single meeting on a Saturday that would, we scheduled all the departments, whatever time. I think in talking to the chair earlier on the phone, he suggested scheduling the larger departments at the end of, in the afternoon, and the smaller departments in the morning. So it would give an opportunity for both the selectmen and the budget committee, if both choose to have a joint meeting and presentation, to hear the same budget presentation once, and then both sort of move forward on their paths, and then come back together maybe during the budget hearing process. Or, we can work out the details, but I guess the biggest question here, from my perspective, and probably the selectmen's as well, and would be if people are willing to have a Saturday meeting. Now, I have checked with the departments, and the ideal day where everybody is available would be a September 14th. On all the others, there's one department head missing. Again, I get there could probably be something made up with that in terms of if there was one that missed, but the 14th would be the ideal day in terms of department heads. Selectmen haven't really discussed it yet at this point, and you folks haven't discussed whether you even want to consider it or not. So that was all I had to give to you, so that you could discuss that yourselves, and maybe we could figure out what the best way forward is.
Now, the thing is, any of the ideas that I put in, like the protocol, how we start at selectmen first, and how everything, it's going to need to be refined, because I'm going to redo it again, maybe submit it to you, and you can put your input in there like you did before, because what it is, I want this to go smoothly, and what we're going to do, and his seating arrangement was, the selectmen will sit here, but we, as a budget committee, can sit here. We will use that table, and I think there's enough room for us to all sit in one direction. I don't know if you still have the calendar, but I put the protocol in. I gave it to him. What I want to do is go over it with you. Everything goes with the selectmen first, then the dates that we can sit down and do that. Well, that's going to be another time, but you mentioned something about the department heads would like to finish the budget early November, or?
Well, again, that's just discussion among the departments. That hasn't even fully been discussed with the selectmen yet.
Okay.
I just wanted to come and present the idea to you. I think we mentioned it in the selectmen meeting once, but nothing official was
Okay.
done. The discussion with the department heads in the first couple of meetings I had with them since I started has been, people would like to try to get the budget done earlier, so that there's an opportunity for the public to adequately be able to understand it, and any questions that people have, there's an adequate time to answer them. Now, I do realize that there are some numbers that won't be exact until probably latter November, but you should be able to get close enough with them where it wouldn't make a substantial difference. You usually don't get the final health insurance numbers until the mid to the last week of November.
And
And those kinds of things.
Yeah, and for those, we can't adjust those anyways. Those come in, those are hard and fast numbers. That was one of the things we talked about before, that there's nothing we're gonna change. Those are just gonna get rolled in for the health cost and the
Oh,
retirement.
okay, yeah.
The other part, the presentation, is going to be the important part for us to discuss with them, so.
And all those folks can usually give you a really
Yeah.
good idea of where it's going before then.
You know, this we knew the insurance, because I think last year it didn't come out till late December. And we didn't act on it till January, but is there any other questions from anybody who want to ask Neil?
I just, for one, I agree that the fewer meetings we have, I think the fewer meetings we have, the better off we're gonna be, and if we can get all the department heads to go through early, I mean, I'd be in favor of it, I know that.
And the sooner the better.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about this later to see if all committee members are in sync. It has to be everybody or nobody. Because why get on board and you missed a whole budget session? We might be able to do it, and I'm not sure what time we'll be starting, but this would also be an opportunity for people who can't get to these meetings can now come here on a Saturday. The only thing I would ask is that we just do the budget presentations, but no input from the public until after. Because if we start bringing them in for every department, we're gonna get bogged down.
Well, one of the things that you might want to consider is that, you know, the time for the questions and so forth. I mean, again, you folks can put together the protocol for the meetings, but it might be better just to have that be an introduction of the budgets without really any input, because you folks won't have had a chance to really absorb anything yet. And I think the time for the questions and answers would be when you actually have your budget hearings.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be
Yeah.
the time to do it.
Yeah.
But at least some people will be able to sit here, because sometimes they work at night, they can't be here. Video's okay, but they like to be here. And I will probably put, if the chairman lets me do this, I will redo that protocol and I'll send it to you, refine it. There are gonna be dates when we're going to separate to, because we're gonna need your budget first. Once they put their numbers in, then we're gonna see it, and then we'll put ours in, then we'll share the information to you, and then maybe have one meeting and sit down, talk it over. We'll have to see about that, and the dates I have not set on that either. But there's plenty of time. And that also, if we can get it done early up in November, there's room in case they figure the budget's too high. Some department heads may want to cut it before we even get to it. This is, because before that, we didn't have enough time. It was right near the edge, so. If there's no questions, thank you, Ernie, for coming in. I appreciate it very much. This is good.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to stay here if you want a little longer, but I wanted to get you in first so you can go home if you like. It's a long day.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.
Ernie.
Okay. One thing I gotta remember to say that a quorum is present. I gotta skip number 4 because I
Pledge
don't,
of Allegiance.
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Caught me
We
for
were
that.
all standing up.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry.
I am out of practice. Okay, now we're gonna look at the bylaws. Okay, everybody had a chance to look at them? Go ahead. Peg.
Should I call you Mr. Chair right now, or Mr. Vice Chair, or Bob?
You call me anything but, well, call me vice chair. I mean chairman, rather. Don't go that way. That was,
I went on the Google Drive, I said it correctly this time, and I could not tell whether the changes that we had talked about had been input or not. And I basically told Tom that it was above my pay grade to go back through my written on notes and make sure that they were all in. I mean, there was no indication that the changes were made. So if anybody else looked at them and saw that all the changes were made, just let me know. I'll be fine with it.
okay, Humphrey.
Yeah, in regards to it, I went back and I'm not 100% sure all the changes. I gave Tom the complete markup. The only thing I do know is there was just like one thing left that was still marked, and it was a number, number three.
Yeah.
Under that, and I do see some of the changes I know were made, but I can't address 100%. I would have liked to have seen the marked up
So would I.
copy.
So do we table this again?
No, we're not tabling nothing.
I don't know if there's enough in there that we had to, even looking at what I read
Okay.
through, that we would have to table it. I think we can always make adjustments later, correct? I mean, if we find something down the line,
I went over it,
Conflict.
and I saw everything that I had highlighted, it was taken care of.
Okay, but I know that,
There was a
Humphrey, you
couple-
did give Tom quite
I
a few.
gave Tom the
yeah.
whole, everything we talked about, I
This-
gave Tom to put in, so.
Okay, this is it right here. This is what he sent to me. And when we get into this, Tom's gonna discuss this thing with the Google Drive, because I cannot get into it. And, okay, well, if anybody wants to look at it, I think this is the
Is
one.
that the marked up, not the final marked up copy?
Yeah, these are the finals you got right here. I had another one, but I wanted to, no, this is an extra one. No, these are the ones, Humphrey, that I took. I compared it with the ones that I had that was marked up.
These are additional.
I think you put an additional
Making comments.
couple lines in here, and that's in page 4, where order of business or agenda. You added, I think old business was in there, and there's another one. Members' comments, and I think those are the only two things that I saw that was in there. The rest of it looked like you put everything that was in blue.
Yep, okay. Yeah,
And-
yeah, Tom's the one that made the final
Okay.
edit, so.
Oh,
This seems to be okay. Has anybody got any more questions on this?
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. If somebody else says it's okay,
Oh, no.
I guess I'll go along with it.
You've got to be sure if it's okay. If not, I don't want it, if we
I
table
know,
these.
but I really wanted to see the changes in a different color so that we could see and make sure that the changes that were discussed were input.
Well, we can just move this down and wait
Till
for
Tom comes in. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
we'll
just
we'll push
make
it
it-
down to
Yep, that makes
wherever he
sense.
decides to find a place for it. Okay, now he's got discussion of DPW budget review. Okay, I don't know what he wants to do with that. I don't know what anybody wants to do with it. Do we want to hold a meeting with him, or, because he's got 3 departments we have to look at. And I don't have a budget, and I'm not sure if this is what he's got in mind.
His discussion that we had before, where we were gonna meet with each of the department heads, so I think the DPW with Pat, the reason he's got it here is that's the next one, and it's to come up with a date and time, but,
See, he may have that, and I don't
yeah,
have this.
I think that's the
Okay.
reason it's here, we don't know what that date and time was to meet
Okay.
with Pat.
Okay, he's got me now approached a review for other
That'll
departments.
be the same thing, he must have something down there.
Well, I think what
I
is
think the
this,
idea is also, Bob, not to try to cut you off, but I think because we knew we were meeting at the police department, we knew we
Yeah.
were meeting at the fire department, and the intent was to meet with Pat at the DPW. It was, how do we want to approach it with the
Okay.
other departments here, is what I think Tom was asked, was wanted to discuss.
now, if we meet down there, I don't think we wanna meet in the garage. There's no.
Thank you anyway.
Yeah.
but-
No, they
Yeah,
have,
no,
they have a nice,
They
they
have a-
have a
they have an
nice,
office
nice,
area.
a nice waiting room in there now.
They do?
Yeah,
Okay, I haven't been in there for a while, so. What we can do,
some of
We'll
our
see
good
if we can-
handymen, did that down there. Unfortunately, they're not here anymore, but
what we can do is just go in, but have budgets, we can discuss the government buildings and the highway, and then the transfer station. We'll have to have the budgets with us on that. So, I guess we're gonna have to hold on to that. And as for the review for the school budget, everything that's in the book is what we need. Everything is in there. I don't know where we wanna go with this, because I don't know how you wanna review this. The book is so clear. The only thing is, it's not in the order that some people would like to have it, but it's got everything.
Well, if I might, I know I had, and Peg got me a lot of answers in the last one. Since I started on the board, I've gone through every one of these reports, line for line, and I'm gonna tell you right now, to me, it's like calculus. It is not basic math, because when I look at, for instance, March's expenditures, where it ended, and then I see what was spent in April, when I go and roll up the numbers under each of the areas, they don't add up. Or, so my biggest question is, I would really love to have Nathan come in to be able to explain why those numbers don't ever add up together. He's the only one, I think, because Peg, I know you're only asking Nathan.
What you wanna do with that.
And,
Okay, so we're actually,
I'll wait until,
well, that got pushed down. And this is, I haven't done that. Okay.
But this, in continuing on what I was saying,
Sorry, I
I'm gonna hold off and find out where Tom wants to go, because I'm not gonna forget my place to you, so.
No, keep going with your train of thought.
All right,
Don't
this
lose it.
was, all right, the idea was in trying to figure out what we want to do to look at the school expenses. Looking at each individual line item as to what they're paying and what they're not paying, that's not something that I want to go over, and I don't think anybody needs to go over each individual line item. I have some serious concerns when I see things like the adopted budgets changed this past month. It went from 9.93 million.
Can you give me a particular line?
That's the total budget.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about
Okay,
expenditure, or you want to wait until
On
we
the
get to the
expenditure,
school?
it's on the expenditure report, and that's
Mr.
the school
Chairman.
piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I think we should keep that for, if we're
When
gonna go
it's
into
time for that,
the
yeah,
report.
thank you.
That's what we would
want
do.
him to, yeah, but, we're going into the school report. I wanna keep that to whatever it is you were talking
The
about.
school report.
Yep.
Well,
That's what we would do.
That's exactly what I'm
Well, I
discussing.
know, but it's not,
well,
that isn't where it is in the agenda, but that's all right.
No, well, he mentioned the school, and that's the, okay.
Oh, okay.
okay,
That's the only reason I did that, because I thought we were waiting on the town.
we're reviewing the school budget, okay? This is an expense report. We want the budget. You want, what do we got in the budget that you would like to know how it's presented? I mean, for me, when I was talking about that, they budget for what they have. They don't put nothing out in it, even though I disagree with it. But the tuition line, you can't put $1 in there, because I guarantee within less than a month, that thing will be exploding. I actually, more of a time that put some money in there wouldn't hurt the bottom line. They didn't do it. They budget for what they have. That's the only thing I
Okay,
can
all
say.
right, no, that's fine. I didn't realize which part you were talking about.
No.
You're talking about.
You talking about the budget.
I'm
This-
talking about the expenditures, you're talking about the budget, that's fine.
Well, that's what's on the agenda.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I thought we had gone past that. That's-
No, because,
I got you. I got where you're at.
okay,
Yep.
I just don't want to get ahead, so you can.
Oh, no,
talk
no,
all you
no,
want.
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, okay, you'd reached out, you'd asked me to contact Nathan to come in and try to explain some of the accounting processes that you use for the school. He couldn't make the meeting tonight.
Yep.
This is basically year end for the school, so this is his busy week.
Yep.
So he did say, feel free to reach out to him, and he'll be more than happy to answer any questions as he's got time to do it. Because like I said, he's busy with the year-end stuff. I did send him the questions that you had sent.
Mhm.
He said he was working on answers to those to try to get it, but feel free to reach out to him and it might be easier, since he wasn't able to come, and he said it's month end. He's, trying to wrap the books up for the school. I know our daughter goes through that working at a bank. So feel free to reach out to him to try to get a better understanding, and then bring back to the committee what you learned and as to how things are structured.
I don't have a problem. I know I've mentioned before, I'd go and talk to somebody separately. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure it's not.
Yeah, no.
If
Like I
anybody,
said,
if nobody has a problem with it, I would more than
I
be
don't.
happy.
I do not have an issue with it.
You know, maybe I know we're both. Maybe Dennis
I'll
come
go
with me so we
with
got
you,
two of
because
us.
I got lots
We
of
had talked
questions
before.
too.
Yeah.
We've asked
Okay.
similar
Wherever you
questions.
want to
So.
go, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I didn't do that. And
Okay. So
this next question's about
they're
this.
suggesting the 14th of September for a joint meeting.
Yes, it seems to be the better day for them.
I'd rather have it after everybody has a chance to go to the. I'll talk to the TA
Okay.
and see if that's, because I want everybody to have a chance to go, even though it's not required. I really want people to be able to go to the seminars about budgeting before we start talking about budgets.
I'm wondering, Mr. Chairman, if it isn't on a weekday.
I think it is. I
think
remember
it's
it
on a
was,
weekday.
yeah.
The budget.
The class.
Yeah, I think last year it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know if it's the beginning of the month, end of the month.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that, so I'll talk to
Okay.
the town tomorrow morning and find out.
When is the class?
That's what I got to find out. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the schedule yet for the classes. Last year it was in September.
Yeah.
I think there were two of them, one week, 2 weeks later. But I don't remember if it was, I've had breakfast since then. I don't remember if it was the beginning of September in the middle or middle and end, something like that. But I really want people to be able to go to find out about how, to be able to answer any questions they may have and to get knowledge about the process, which most of us kind of have an idea, I think, but I just want people to have that opportunity before we sit down and start talking real budget stuff.
Okay, I mean, usually they hold one in the southern tier, then one in
Yeah.
the northern tier, and everybody likes the north.
Yeah, that's where I went last year, I think, was up noon.
Yep.
Noon's where they had it last year. Okay, we have had one of our members moving out of town. He's moving closer to work. He submitted his resignation by email to me Sunday, I think it was, Mr. Carcass. So he won't be no longer. We wish him well. He was a valuable member when he was here. So we will be posting a open position for the budget committee, and see if we have anybody that wants to join the budget committee to help us bring us back up to full strength. We have a notice. I'll send a notice out for what it's going to say to everybody. Make sure everybody sees what we're going to post. The one thing that I am going to ask that we make sure we highlight in it is that we're trying to do things more online, more electronically than handing out reams of paper, which I think most of us are online, able to get stuff online, even if we might like to print out paper sometimes because it's sometimes easier. But I think all of us are, so to try to do some of the collaboration, trying to get the minutes up online so we can get those updated, things like that. That'll be one change that we make.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, as far as
Yes.
I'm concerned, I want to thank him for his service to the town. He's been a great budget committee member. I mean, that first year in, there was a lot of things he came up with, some darn good questions
Yep.
that were very good. What we have to do, Mr. Chairman, we have to accept his resignation. We have to vote on this.
Thank you. Have a motion to accept his resignation.
Motion so said.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The-
Chair votes yes,
Okay.
unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, you have that letter? Because it needs to be sent to the town.
Okay,
clerk.
yeah, I'll email it to the town clerk.
Okay. Yeah, because before you can't post it unless.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, almost said.
All right, okay,
So,
Okay.
point of order for a moment. I
Yep.
know we stopped on the bylaws, and you had taken all the comments and
Yep.
everything else that we had given them.
what?
And the question just before you came in is we don't know what changes were, if all the changes were made.
I found out when you copy a document in Google Documents, it seems that it accepts all the changes.
Yeah.
The changes that were made are all in the document as it's posted right now. All the changes that people that you'd asked for, primarily the
Yep.
three lines, the town meeting, the annual town meeting, all of that had been done
Okay.
in that. That should be the latest that we have had to, all those changes were there. Were in that.
So
Yeah.
then the only thing, I know Peg had seen it and I'd seen it at the very end, there was one change that is still marked, that didn't go through. It's just a number. It comes up and it's under the format and schedule for final requests.
What page is that? Oh, that's page
It's-
7.
Towards the end.
Towards the end, yeah, it's just above the committee. It's section C,
Yeah.
section 7C, format and schedule for final request. The item number, line 3, the 3's line through. It just needed to be accepted, that change.
Okay.
I know how to do it in Word, I didn't know how to do it in Google.
You said page 7?
It's on
Alright, page
page 8.
I tried,
Oh, I see it.
yeah, see, I tried, I put that in there and I can't get it out myself
Yeah.
either. For some reason, it won't go, not even
Yeah,
in
you can
Word.
mark changes, but it doesn't, it's tough. Only the person that put the document in can actually
No,
accept changes.
I am disappointed. Nobody caught the budget committee?
Yeah, well, we hadn't quite, by the way, I was at the first part, it's that whole thing that needs to be fixed. It's not just the number 3, you're right,
Yeah.
that needs to be fixed too. But
Okay, and all right, the is out.
Okay, what's been
Okay,
taken?
I will fix that 3 that's crossed
Yeah.
out. I didn't see that. Okay, is that the only thing that anybody saw?
as far as,
I haven't,
Let me see it.
I've gone over it, and for what I've seen, he only added a couple words in the, only a couple words were in, and I think it was current page.
To your point though, Peg, you're looking at a document that's been completely refreshed.
We don't know, right?
To understand if all the changes have gotten in is impossible unless they're highlighted in some way. So the changes,
The changes that I made got lost when I copied it from one place to another. It accepted them.
Fine.
That's all I can tell you.
where you can-
The
The 26th
20,
September, the budget workshop.
only one of them this year?
That's all that showed up, yeah.
All right, I shall.
it's pretty late in the month.
If you see 1.11, that's one of them that I did, and it has those changes in there. And I
Okay,
don't
no,
know.
it just came up with the one
Okay,
clean document, except for that red 3.
Yeah, like I said, I apologize. I don't know what happened when I.
Do you still have it in Word
Yeah,
at
I was
home?
gonna ask
or
that.
anything?
This is in Word. I don't know what happened to the track changes. I had no clue.
I still have the ones with me made the changes to. I still have that file. It's still in blue and whatever, I think that's the only color I used. I still have it at home.
Yeah, well, you get the hard copies that we had marked?
Yeah.
I have
think
my
that-
hard
I do. I'll have to round them up at home.
If he has them, okay. If not, I got them.
If,
Well, okay, this is a situation, right? They've been updated, we can't see what the changes were. How does the committee want to proceed with this?
Well, I would suggest that we work from what we've got right now.
Yeah.
Don't go backwards.
No,
Yeah, because we,
Reconstruct the crime will take us much longer than if we just move forward.
I'd make a motion that we accept them as they're written here, and if necessary, we make changes down the line.
I'll second it.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Unanimous. They are. Now, let me make sure I understand what we just voted on, that we are accepting the bylaws as they're written now, with the exception of the strikeout for number 3.
In the second,
And I took care of that already.
yeah.
Uh, And, okay, and so, going on. Okay, I liked I thought we had it was a great meeting with the fire department and the police department. I need to schedule, and it actually, if anybody else would want to take on trying to get up with Pat Smith to schedule some time to sit down with them, like we did with the police and fire.
If you want, I'll stop by and see Pat.
Okay, all right, his hours are such, it's a little more difficult for me to run into him.
No, I know. Like I said, I can swing by there.
Okay, and I'm open to suggestions for how we can, because I'd like to do the same thing for the other departments in town, which are gonna be, of course, we got, the town hall, we got assessing, code enforcement, town clerk, tax collector. I'd like to figure out how to do a similar thing to review, again, what does this line do, what comes out of this line kind of thing. We might be able to do it with sit down with the town administrator, and it might be a good thing to do that with him so he gets familiar with the budgets before he starts collecting them. I'm open to suggestions from the committee how we want to pursue with the other departments in town.
I would suggest that we perhaps sit down with Ernie, or at least you talk to
Yep.
Ernie and find out how he would like to do it, because you're right, he might like to learn about it as well, but he should be speaking for his departments, right? They all
Yeah.
work for him, so I would suggest that we
Okay, all right, I'll,
with Ernie rather than each individual
okay. Yeah, that's-
department. It seems like that would take us forever, and not sure how much
Yeah.
more we'd gain out of it.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because I think a lot of them, supplies, supply for code enforcement is going to be the same things that are going to be supply for town clerk's tax collector, with a couple of little exceptions maybe. But that's kind of what I was saying. I just wanted to get the board's thought on it. I will reach out to Tony and find out, or Tony or
Ernie.
Ernie.
Bernie.
And find out how he would like to approach that, whether it's we come in late one night, we meet during the day sometime here, I'll talk with him to figure out. What I'm trying to think. I'll talk to him and see what he's got to say as to when we might be able to meet. And the approach for review of school budget, that's looking at, do we want to do a similar thing for the school? That is not, sit down with whoever would be the best representative and say, okay, these are the items that come out of these lines. Is that something that the budget committee thinks would be useful? Yes, Ms. Big.
Okay, me.
Yeah.
Bob brought up earlier, as far as the actual budget is concerned, the booklet that is put out really does have everything broken down. The budget.
Yep.
I mean, I know you're talking about the expenses and the blah, 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 but the budget book has absolutely everything written down.
Okay, so maybe if we can get, don't know if I still have my copy easily available.
Well,
Dogs like
Nate
eat
still
them.
has a couple. I know I
Okay.
gave one to
Yeah, I got one.
If
Humphrey and to Dennis.
I could get a copy of it, I can take it to work and scan it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we have a separate workshop where we
We just
with
go
the,
with Peg. Oh, yeah.
with Peg and the budget book, and we can
Fine.
Go
I
through
mean, that
it.
works for me. I mean, okay, he's got it. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I have mine at home too.
Yours is not falling apart. Mine is.
In regards to it, I don't think the types of questions that we're asking, like Chief Kraus and Chief Marique, are gonna be the types of questions we're gonna ask the school. To me, I agree, Peg's it's broken down pretty well here as far as what the items are for. I think it's, we can ask questions on where some things may be changed down the line or things like that, but that's more budget questions than it is what's the line items for.
Okay.
So,
Just- Am I hearing the consensus is we don't think that it would be useful to discuss what the line items are for?
no, I think it'd be useful to talk with them more on how they're actually budgeted or the revenue that comes in for them than it is.
So what format are you suggesting then?
But that has nothing to do with the actual budget, Humphrey. I mean, I know what you're getting at the month to month. We do the budget, and then expenses. Money comes in, but I mean, the budget booklet is basically what we had from the fire department and the police department was, this is line number X, this is what is part of that line, this is what we budget for, this is how much we've expended so far, blah, blah, blah. But as far as the school budget, that book is the Bible, seriously.
I don't disagree. That's
Okay.
my comment is, I don't think a meeting's the same type of meeting that we had
Okay,
with Chief
all right.
Marique and Chief Kraus is warranted. I think
Okay.
there's more questions in regards to how the budgeting process itself is rolling out, in my opinion. I mean, I'm very confused. I'll tell you right now, I've never been as confused as I have from looking at that budget.
Okay, well,
That's how it's done, so that it's,
That's why,
if
that's
I
why-
might,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
That's why I think it's good for you to, both
meet
you
with-
and,
yeah.
yeah, to go sit with Nathan.
exactly.
Yeah.
And-
What I think I'm hearing is the questions that you got, Humphrey, and what I read in the questions
Yep.
are more accounting related, more mechanics of
Yes.
Yes.
this coming in, this going out. That
Yes.
sounds like to me what I'm hearing, more
Yep.
process related, if you will, not
It is,
not details of what goes into lines.
correct.
And do the other members think it would be useful to sit down and details what goes into lines? Do you think we can get it out of the budget book? And maybe we get everybody the same copy of the book, I'll PDF it and email it to us. And then if we think we may have questions that aren't answered in that, maybe then we have a couple hour session on a Saturday or something to talk about our questions with Peg and get, or we give Peg the questions earlier and she comes to a meeting or something. So I think what I'm hearing is that we don't think it would be as valuable, the committee, to meet like we did with police and fire and hopefully DPW. Is that what seem to be the consensus?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
I think
make a
if-
motion that we get the copies, get potentially, hopefully electronically.
Yeah, it will be.
Distribute them, and then at some point or another, this committee
Yep.
meets, and
Yeah, no,
You've got the-
I
you've got the
certainly have gone
expert
through
right
that.
here, so.
I
so
certainly have
think-
gone through
I
that
think
budget
that's more
booklet.
beneficial.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right, that sounds good to me.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, getting back to scheduling
I have a
of,
question for you.
yes, sir.
You boards beginning not realizing we're gonna start working on our budget for next year.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have us doing two tasks. We're gonna be involved preparing our budgets for next year, because we run a different year than the town does. So you're gonna, at this point, these questions you probably could ask while we're doing the budget. Because you're gonna have to schedule the days you're gonna meet with us here pretty quick.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be Humphrey and probably Dennis
No,
will.
we're talking about two different things. You wanna go through each line now.
No, we just,
No,
no,
no.
that, the committee didn't feel that was enough value add to do that.
Right.
Because of the detail that you got in your book.
Yeah.
That we, the committee, the consensus seemed to be that we don't need that level of, that it's self-explanatory with the book. So that now the real questions that seem to be causing the most
Confusion.
confusion are the process questions related to the accounting for the school budget, which
Now, does
is
this
revenues.
board
economic.
realize the payments we get from the school each month? I mean, from the town to the school?
May I just address- The answer to that is yes. We understand that there's payments that come in and they come in at various times. The problems that we have is when you look at either the expenditure report or the revenue reports, there is so much difference from one to the next that you don't know whether it was a revenue issue that's not accounted for in the expenditure report or if it's or something else.
I'm sorry, I have got to bite my tongue, and I'll try to
I don't
be
need you to
very
bite
nice.
your tongue.
All right, I'll bite Dennis's tongue instead. Stick it out. I don't care. They're two separate reports. You have the revenue report that I do have to say we've never received a revenue report from the town, which you might have the same questions. I have no clue. And then there's the expense report. So no revenue is ever shown in the expense report. Is that?
I understand that
I know,
completely.
but I
That's
keep
the
hearing the
answer I got from
questions.
Nathan, is that money comes in and it adjusts the budget. Those are the answers I got.
The revenue.
I understand. I was asking questions, and I'm gonna try to be very clear too, and I don't wanna come off heated, but I'm pissed off that I've never gotten an answer that tells me how come the math never lines up. Not from you, but I can show you every every section, that if I look at where the ending number was, how much was left money-wise, I'll go through them later. Peg.
Okay, all right.
But where the money ends one month, how much is expended that month, that when I look at the next total, there's variations from thousands and thousands of dollars that do not add up.
All right.
And the answers I have gotten is, some of that is because of revenues that have come in, and I go, the revenues aren't shown in the expenditure reports, and only expenditures are. So how is it when you roll up all the expenditures, that you had a starting point that says, and I'll just use $1 million was how much was left. If you spent $500,000, why doesn't it come out with $500,000 left? It comes up with $463,000. And the answer was, because revenues came in. So I have asked for this repeatedly since I've been here in March. So
Okay.
I'm not, I know I know you're flustered because you're caught in the middle peg. And all I'm trying to address here is, that's why I want to sit with Nathan. Because there should be no guessing when you roll up how much the expenditures are, that this is how much money's left. And I also haven't got answers as to why sometimes money's pulled from encumbered, sometimes it's pulled from what's remaining, and the percentages don't line up month to month. Okay, I've got a listing like this every time with the same questions, and I get the same answers, and none of them make sense. And I've been doing budgets for years.
all right.
So that's why, hang on, that's why I want to sit with Nathan.
Okay.
Not try to have a separate meeting. I have no questions about the line items and what the line items mean. I have a very hard time understanding why the math never works out.
You and Dennis are gonna sit down with Nathan, figure
Exactly.
that out.
Well, that's why I want to make sure that Mr. Shupman
Yeah.
understands that it's
It-
not about meeting and creating extra
You
work.
forgot
It's-
one report. You you got revenue, and you got the.
And you got
Then you
grants.
forgot the grant report.
No, I know there's grants there too.
That's the
Yeah.
third report you're gonna need that comes in for money.
I understand that.
Yeah, but
No, I understand
this
that.
is-
Okay, I
this
just want
is-
specifics where you're saying the bottom line from month to month
I'll
changes.
give you, let me, Tom, try to address one more question and that's
No,
it.
no, we're gonna talk about the school stuff.
Yes, no,
later.
I understand. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
address is I will
Okay.
go over the specifics
Yeah.
when we get there.
Thank you.
But but again, the process questions about
Yeah.
how this went, answer that with Nate. He should be the expert as to, that can tell you
Yeah.
exactly. You know, not that Mr. Shute and Ms. Peg can't
No,
do that.
he's doing the books.
He is
He's doing
the
the
expert.
books.
He should be able to answer all these questions. And rather than us spend another 30 minutes here talking about where
Yeah.
money comes from, when you spend 20 minutes with the expert and, you know, buy him a cup of coffee, and he'll probably have the answer for you just right there.
That's
Okay.
if you decide to take his answer. There are some people who will still question it right to the very end.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a point where you gotta stop here.
No.
We went,
It's
if he
when,
gives you the answer, you're
it's-
gonna repeat
Bob,
it.
if the answer doesn't answer the question, I am never gonna stop until I get an answer that makes sense. No, because he has not answered the question yet.
Then you're telling him he's a liar.
No, I wanna,
He's
no, I'm
telling-
not.
No, it's a
No, I'm
matter of.
not.
it's
I
a
wanna
matter of
sit with him and have him
understanding.
show me.
It's a matter of understanding, I
Okay,
think. It's not-
I can see where this is
exactly,
gonna
it's
go.
understanding it. It's
Even
not
if-
whether he's right or wrong.
Will you be able to understand if he tells you?
Don't know until he.
Well, at least he'll be able to clarify.
That's what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
If
Yeah.
you
Some
decide to take
clarification.
his
That's
word,
it, that's
yes.
all
That's
we're
all
looking
good.
for.
I think you'll understand more of my comments in a little while.
Okay, all right, on
I'm not
to,
sure.
okay, so, to summarize, Humphrey and Dennis presumably will get together with Nate, talk about the process of the budget. We're not going to have a sit-down meeting to talk about the line items in the school budget. And I will send out a PDF copy of the school budget book. And then that'll happen tomorrow. Okay, town expenditure report. We got the, what do they call this? It's called the expenditure report, current year only.
Yeah.
Oh, expanded transaction detail.
What it comes down to, Mr. Chairman, is the ledger.
Yeah, yep. And I think this, Ernie, apologize for not being able to figure out exactly how to get it in Excel for us. He said PDF is spit out. He
Yeah.
wasn't sure what sequence of buttons he had to push to get Excel. Before I move on to that, and before I forget, the meetings that we set up with Department of Public Works, should we try to schedule, and to look at the other budgets, schedule these after we have our new member sitting here, which is gonna push us out till at least July?
I personally, I mean, unfortunately, you don't know when you're gonna
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be waiting
Well,
around.
okay, all right, I'm just.
That's my personal
No,
opinion.
I was kind of thinking that too, that it's going to push it out possibly into August, so.
'Cause you
and
could
I
be
think
waiting
that's
till
waiting
next
too long.
year.
Yeah, we
All right,
don't know.
okay. All right, everybody, you have a consensus more or less? All right.
Okay,
Okay.
just one thing, Mr. Chairman, I was not gonna print that out.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
a,
Oh, heck
oh, no.
that's a huge
That's,
file.
that's why, one of the things on the new member, be able to do things
Yeah.
with email and on the computer and collaborate that way, because I personally like this form, being able to see, you know, the expenses and everything. Did anybody see anything that jumped out at them?
I did, again, it's the library, page 13.
Page 13, you said?
Yep,
Is this on the detailed?
on the detail
Expanded?
one. This is our
Okay.
regular report, because somehow or another, something is going on here. And it's the library. And maybe Andy could tell me about
Do
it.
you know what
What's the number one?
number?
Oh, you're going with that one?
Yeah.
No, just the
batch-
line
batch-
item.
The batch line item on the side.
Oh, okay. There's two of them here. Okay, I'll take the first one. 01-4550-840. Mileage and travel. Now, this is $235 budgeted. There's a minus $604 on the year-to-date. So it seems to tell me that got, oh, this is for the April one. It got pulled out. It was a mistake. Now, I'll also see it. It appears again in the main report. And I'm comparing the two, Mr. Chairman, because somehow or another,
Yep.
that's way offline. And same thing, same number, and maybe if I had the computer, I'd be okay. Yeah, same page, okay. Maybe I don't have it.
What have you got on your report that you're looking at numbers wise? You've got the details here.
Yeah, you got the, for some reason, I got a page that's missing. But anyway, it's the mileage and travel, okay? They took that one out. The next line, membership and dues, 01-4550-850, that's $335. And it says there's $604 year-to-date expended.
They had, and I can answer that one. They had an annual fee for 604, and then they subtracted it, 604. No, I'm saying on the overall report.
You got the main one?
I've got, yeah,
Yeah,
this
right.
is the full-blown report.
Right there, that's what you see there, 604. And so it looks like money came in and went back out.
It went back up, but now, that was the April report. Now,
This is May.
That's the May one,
This
that's the
is,
new
this,
one.
this, or as of June, this is actually June.
Yep.
This was as of.
June 20th.
Thursday or something?
Yep.
Last Thursday.
okay. Andy, did you bring it up at one of the selectmen's meetings that is so far off? I would doubt very much that Betsy would
It-
ever let
it-
that go that far.
It looks like,
Because there was some errors in here.
Yeah, that line was way off, and it did go down to the next one.
yeah, 'cause I do
April and
see
May.
that going out, money going out, and then coming back in into that line,
Yep,
for the same exact amount.
yep.
Park Street Foundation
604.
downloaded, New Hampshire Downloadable Consortium, and then Park Street Foundation.
You know, Mr. Chairman, probably if I can get the monthly report instead of the year-to-date, wouldn't be so high. I could print those out instead, the monthly report instead of the
Okay,
whole thing.
we'll have to,
Okay,
that way
so,
we'll see what we can,
all right,
Because, I mean, on line 850 on this report, it's only showing that she's only used 31% of her.
yeah, but I can't see Betsy spending almost twice as much. And it does show where it goes?
yeah, oh yeah,
Okay, when
yep.
that budget time comes, I'm gonna want to know why that budget's only at two, that's a default, but even then,
Yeah, well, this was, middle of June, and she's 47% expended,
okay,
so
she's
she's
right where she should be.
yeah, about where she should be.
Pretty close.
It shows another year.
That's the only thing I saw, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
and I was doing a combo between the April, and I see the
Yeah.
difference in, it moved things around. But there was one, there was also a minus 499 on, I think, the 850.
For,
Same numbers, travel, and then the dues also, there was a
okay,
minus.
well, in that same line that we were at, they have money going out, looks like money went out 604, and then money
Yeah.
coming in 604.
Okay, I don't have that page in May. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
on the other-
for
Okay, I'm
850.
using the other expenditure report, that's
Yeah.
what I'm using. But there was a minus 499 on it, and it's not, in fact, it didn't even show anything.
499 or 249? I see a 249 here.
There's a 499 on this one.
Yes, okay. And they have a minus in it too, so they made an adjustment there as well.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
yeah, that's,
There seems to be a lot of adjustments going on in this report.
Yeah.
Too many.
yeah, that was one thing that Ernie did say was that he was trying, when he went through this, that part of why it took a while was trying to get things cleaned up.
Yeah,
Uh,
because,
Okay, did anybody else have anything? I personally like this detail.
It's a lot easier to understand what they're spending. than on
If you're trying to figure out an issue, it's a lot
Yeah.
better to have all the detailed data, but
I
there is a lot there.
There
The
is.
summary is
and
easier to
you
find
end
out
up
where.
trying to find what that
Yeah.
number is so
There
that you
is.
can figure out whether in fact you need the detail or not.
Yeah.
And
well,
most of them, what I've seen, most of them are just fine.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
nothing
This
there
one
that
just
we
seems
should.
bounced, they keep minusing on this one here, on this library, so it's just something I saw, and I saw the changes. Still looks odd, but
Yep. Yeah, something?
And if I might, because I agree with what Peg's comment was earlier, you know, we get the revenue reports from the school. It would be nice to see the revenue report from the town to try to figure out in the long run. I mean, in the same format, you know, we don't need to have anything
Yeah.
printed out, but in the same format to understand what it is.
Okay,
If you could ask on that.
they should be able to get us, I'll ask for
Yeah.
so we want the detailed, expanded transaction detail.
Yep.
Do we want still the monthly expense reports?
I think it's in a lot of cases, having it makes it easier to go
Okay.
and see what the
All right,
overall
okay,
is.
But I'd like to continue to get this one.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, how about revolving funds? We want to see if they can easily spit the revolving funds out?
Mm-hmm.
they can do it.
Okay.
I thought the revolving funds were in here.
No,
There's some stuff at the end, at
the
the
end.
very end of this
That's not-
report that shows it, but I don't think
Yeah, I
that's
don't think everything's in.
that's not
I
everything.
think that's what I saw.
You see that?
You were
Okay, yes.
talking about a detailed report?
Yep.
I mean, the two that I have just have expenditure
Uh,
report in the
no,
top.
Yeah, no, we have a.
Up on the shared drive,
There's a big.
there's it's like a 100-page.
Oh, well,
there's
That's this one.
152 pages in there.
You remember when we
that's
met,
actually the expenditure report.
when we met
All
with
the
Chief
details.
Kraus, Peg,
Okay,
he
well-
had a detailed report, showed every one of the items and how they were spent.
Yeah, that's just the line item.
Yeah, this breaks
This,
down.
this is
Oh,
everything.
okay, so
Everything
this
going
is
in
what we
each line.
saw from fire
Yeah,
department,
exactly.
okay,
Right,
all right,
right.
gotcha.
That
Gotcha.
we thought if we saw this, it would,
Okay.
help us answer a lot of the questions.
But we don't have a hard copy of that.
Oh, no, we're not gonna have our copy. of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's 100.
The files are too big.
152 pages.
Yeah, to address the
Yeah.
revolving thing, all we have is a couple of them in there.
We
Tom.
don't do
Yeah.
hard
The
copy.
recreation department.
Okay.
things like
Google
that.
Okay, yeah, it's
Google,
up on,
please.
it's up on PDF on
Okay.
Google Drive. And it'll be under the current month. I've been trying to put files that we're gonna deal with at the meeting under that month, even if it's maybe April minutes, they're under this month, because that's where we're dealing with them. And that way, you know, you don't have to go, oh, when we're gonna go back to April. So now it's, okay, if we're going to a June meeting, everything you need should be in the June.
Okay.
July, everything we need should be in July. August, everything we should need should be in August.
Well, I have
Okay.
a tutorial on how to get into actual Google Docs rather than going to your,
We just did it.
that's what you said, you just gave me a
Okay, so
tutorial.
we may
I
schedule
had
some
a
time to learn how
tutorial.
to use Google Docs.
Thank you.
Okay,
Phew.
Oh on
my
to our
God.
favorite topic of school expenditure, school financial reports, excuse me.
School, whatever they are. All right, I just had a couple, I don't even know where anything is anymore, but I had a couple of questions this month. Yeah, this is the latest one. On page,
The expenditure report,
yeah.
You can actually do the line item too.
Oh, this one, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the line item, that's the old one, sorry. It was under guidance. And it was a test that two students coming back in. You know what, this is yours, I had marked mine up. I apologize, but I marked mine up. And yours are not, so there we go. What page is guidance on? Sorry. Okay, page 10. It was middle guidance, it was line 255.
Okay.
There was a charge for $1,200. We had two students that were trying to re-enter school. They had been out, and they had to have a test in order to prove that they could come back in. One we paid for with a grant, and one we had no place else to put it. So it came under line 255. Everything else I have answered somewhere along the line. And the other thing was under maintenance, page 18, lines 484 and 485. We just had more things go wrong with the buildings. So some other things that needed to come out of there. I have an answer for Dennis. First line, the salaries. Remember when I said 26 pays? what happens is this is the entire yearly salary, but it's for the year worked. So as of June 30th, they're still owed that amount of money, so they will be paid that by June 30th. So July 1st, that will totally be gone. It'll be an accrual instead of an encumbrance. So it's basically their summer pay, because they get paid on a whole year basis, 26 pays. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Well, because I'm remembering the number that I saw on this one, the encumbrance was $200,000.
Right, and that takes care of all of the teachers for the whole summer.
No, that was the encumbrance just for elementary teachers.
Right, and that takes care of paying the elementary teachers for the rest of the
haven't-
summer.
You mean there are people out there that are waiting for $200,000 worth of back
Okay,
pay?
no, they get 26 pays, so every 2 weeks they get a paycheck.
Yeah,
26 pays
right.
takes the whole year. We have
Correct.
52 weeks, so they get paid every 2 weeks.
So they haven't been paid,
They have been paid right up through, say, today, if today was a pay period,
Right.
if Friday was a pay period.
right.
But then, over the summer, they get the rest of the 26 pays. So by the end of the fiscal year, that money will be paid to them.
So the answer is that they get paid not just for the remaining 1 month in the budget.
Right, in our fiscal
They get
year.
paid for the next 4 months. See, if we had it
Right.
explained to us like that,
Well-
then the numbers would add up.
Yeah.
If we talk about the math again.
Some of it,
Yeah,
The numbers
And
would add
I
up
had to
because
ask
you're
Nate.
running at 66K a month.
yeah.
So
No, I
that- So
agree.
the 200,000 now encumbered, if we just had it clearly.
And I thought did I just do it?
No, I know, but
Did I just do it?
we've been talking about this
I
for 3
know, but I
months.
finally got an answer, okay?
I'm sorry. Yeah, but that, yeah, okay, so that, the numbers
So all of the
will-
salary numbers, there are all the teachers,
they get paid into July and August.
right, and as of the end of July, you will not see that in there anymore.
So it's
Well,
roughly
we-
3 months.
We'll see it again, yeah.
It's roughly
So it'll
3
be
months.
June, July, and August, yeah.
And make sure I understood what I think I just heard you say. Sorry to do this. I thought the school budget went from
It
July
does.
1st to June 30th.
It does,
Did I just hear you say that even though the budget goes to June 30th,
right.
money from that June 30th pays teachers through? So
Because
why
they've
doesn't-
actually,
That's why it's in the encumbrance
Yeah,
line.
why doesn't the new budget
remaining.
take over in June,
all
July
right,
1st?
because having been a teacher, you make a certain amount of money. Let's say you make $26,000, and so you get $1,000 every month.
Every-
Two
No,
weeks.
every
Yeah,
2
2
weeks, every 2 weeks.
Every-
And that's
yeah.
not true, because it's prorated, so they talk about people getting, teachers, get paid over the summer while they're on vacation. It's not true, because the months that you're actually working, your salary is kind of prorated.
Isn't it up to the teachers too, as to who does and doesn't get paid
But-
by 26 weeks?
No, I mean,
It's not
it's
doing it?
26, right.
So the again, going back to July 1st
Right.
to June 30th, why doesn't the teacher's pay that would be over the summer from July 1st to
August.
middle of August be out of the next budget?
Because it started this way. Doug,
At
help me
one-
with this. What's their contract? When does that run? Is that July 1st or is that,
Yeah, it could be.
What?
Could be a function of their rates.
so July 30th, okay. I mean, June 30th, July 1st. I don't know,
Okay.
but it is
It could
accrued.
be one of these process things that we talked
Right,
about.
right,
Okay.
but it is accrued
Okay.
and it is money that, I hate to say the word owed to them, but it is.
But it's their pay, that's the mechanism by which they get paid
Right.
through the summer if they
Right.
so choose to do that.
Some of them can get a lump sum.
Mhm.
at
Okay.
the end of June, and others prefer to have
Yeah.
that steady
Okay,
income
all right.
coming
But
in,
it's-
so they actually get the
But it's that
paychecks.
process thing that we talked
Right,
about is why
right.
it doesn't start with the new budget, which is kind of what I would have expected. So when does the new budget salaries start?
July 1st, you'll see basically, I mean, if we have the same number of teachers, and because we're on a default, they won't get any kind of a raise. So say elementary teachers,
You will see money in there, but when? do you-
893,000,
When,
that's
when
starting
do
again.
you start expending from that bit of money to pay the teachers?
Whatever
Because
that
you just-
first, second week is in September, I guess.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it goes to September,
Yeah.
at like the beginning of the school year.
Right,
almost. Okay.
right.
Okay, so the salaries are almost school year based,
Right.
not school fiscal year based.
Right, right,
Okay, where the rest of the budget is school fiscal year based.
right. Because I'm not gonna pay you
Okay.
if you're not starting until
All right,
September.
okay, that-
Until
okay.
September, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, if you just,
No, I understand it.
yeah, okay.
does that make sense?
Gotta be the most confusing bookkeeping I've ever seen.
Well, maybe because I understood it when I was a teacher.
It could,
No, that's right.
that's probably it.
If you
It's probably-
understand it, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when you, yeah, okay, but one of them process things we talked
Yeah.
about. It's
Okay,
gonna be
process
figured out.
things.
Thank
All right, then I am going to wait until I hear the specific questions from Humphrey, please.
And I'm not gonna throw a bunch of questions out. That's.
No,
I'm gonna
what
sit
I-
with-
no,
I
what
wanna-
I would-
But I'm gonna just express why I'm upset about certain
But,
things.
but Humphrey, can I ask you a question, please? I
Yes.
am extremely,
Yeah,
I don't know what I am, left-brained, right-brained, I don't know which brain I really use most of the time. If you can give me a line item that the budget
I'm gonna
has
give it even
changed,
easier. I'm gonna give you the total that changed,
on what report?
okay? On the May report.
Which report, the
this-
expense, the
expenditure.
grant?
I'm only gonna talk about
Okay.
expenditure right now.
All right,
On the expenditure report for May, it
yep,
shows an adopted budget of 9 million.
Where
Look at the very bottom line, the last line item. I'm gonna make it very simple.
on page
On the-
22?
On the very, you notice what the adopted budget and the revised budget is the same. It says 9,973,000, right? $930.08, right?
Okay,
Okay, you see that. There is no, and I just showed Andy too, there are exactly 0 amendments in this budget. The two of them both say the exact same thing, the adopted and the revised. The previous month, and this is just expenditures, the budget was, the adopted budget and the revised budget were both the same, $9,933,072.08. There is $40,000 difference in an adopted and revised budget, and they're the same, and no amendments anywhere in here. And this is what I've been, and that adopted budget was the same for the previous few months. Why did it just jump $40,000? And it's not a revenue thing, because revenues aren't tracked in here, okay? This, and by the way, and if you look at what the current period of expenditures are, and I'm not gonna go into a bunch of questions, I can show you every line in here at the totals for each of the sections, that if you look at the previous month of April, where it ended, and what the expenditures are for May, that when you look at the totals, they vary in everything, in amounts from $1,000 to $40,000 difference. And these are the same questions I've asked each month, and all I have is, and I've gotten grants, revenues, and I'm going, it's an expenditure report. So, that's why I don't wanna go into a whole bunch of specifics, I'll give you an
no,
entire page.
I'm going to answer one question
Yep,
right away.
yep,
If you look on page 22, because when you said that the numbers changed, that's why I had 45 reports here, because I was looking
Yep.
at the budget every single month comparing, because I have 2 months' budgets here.
yep,
If you look on the last page, food service, in April, it's an expense. We transferred $28,000. If you look at May, we transferred 40,000. We were that much more in the hole. If you look at the difference between April and May, What's the difference?
Okay, why is the
But-
adopted budget changing? The adopted budget should not change.
Okay, well, it's food service, which I have to be very, very honest with you. I do not understand. We are always over budget with food service, depending, and we say, okay, we have a contract, we have the expense of, say, $50,000 that we have to eat at the end of the year. We put it in there. If there's more revenue, well, that's food service revenue, because it's a whole block of interactions, or transactions, that's the word I'm thinking of. So if we actually make more money, then that 28,000 would go down, because we wouldn't have to account for that amount of money that we have to pay for. If fewer lunches and breakfasts are sold, they still have the food, they still charge us, that is going to be a bigger expense. And that is a month-to-month basis. And you know what? I do not have the food service report, but I wish I had brought that.
But I'm still gonna address it this way.
Okay.
The adopted budget itself should never change.
It's a constant.
It's a constant figure.
Okay.
There should be amendments, and that's why there's an amendment column in here. And the revised budget should be the only thing that gets adjusted. But what's happened every time they've made a change, Peg,
Yep.
they adjust both the same, and it makes it very difficult to go, okay,
Okay.
exactly what happened.
But
So,
all of the others, if you go month to month to month, which is what I did when you first brought that up, every single one of the other budgets for all of the other, and I don't like calling them the departments, but the different breakdowns are exactly the same from March or April to May. So it's a food service, so I understand, I will talk to Nate about that one.
well, and it's also, I want to sit, and I want to make something very clear, because I did not like the fact that it made it sound like I'm accusing Nate of doing something, and that is what came out of this. All I said was, when you look at this, and I see things like the adopted budget change, and there's nothing explained, because the adopted budget should be fixed, or I look at the end result from the previous month and look at the expenditures and everything for that month, and when they don't add up, because I agree, we've got grant money, we've got revenue money, those are in separate reports. Okay. The expenditure report should show where we're at, and any additions or subtractions should all be in there, so that by the time you roll them all up by each of these sections, they should go from one month to the
Okay.
next and
All right,
come
I
up
will
with an end
find out
result.
about the food service,
Yeah.
because seriously, Humphrey, every single one of them, from month to month, the adopted budget or the revised budget are exactly the same.
Yeah. That's-
So it's a food service
Well,
that messes us
by the way,
up.
it's not just there. That's the same on every area, though.
No, it's,
No, the adopted and revised budget is the same right down the line. I have not seen amendments. That's what I'm talking about, Peg. If you go to the reports, there's no amendments for the month. It shows an adopted budget and revised budget's the same in every
oh, well, so we
section.
haven't revised them then.
They were revised. That's what I'm getting at. There's a revision here.
All right,
No.
I'm gonna have to really look
Well,
rather
you
than
s-
taking
you
the
just-
rest of this
okay.
time, because I just went month to month and I saw the same amounts
Well-
all the way down month to month, so.
I get back to, it sounds like to me, this is a process question that we're not gonna
Yep,
answer.
and I will,
No.
I will meet
You
with
gotta-
Nate.
yeah.
Okay.
And Dennis and I will meet with Nate. That's why I don't want to turn this into frustration,
Okay.
and I'm not accusing anyone, and I don't appreciate being
It-
made to sound like I'm accusing, but I have not gotten answers that clarify it, that's all, and I want to sit with Nate. That's why I asked
That's
him to
why we're
come.
here, by the way.
Yeah,
It truly sounds like to me that there's an accounting definition of what was that called, the approved budget, the adopted budget? That
And the
is different
versus
than what we
revised.
think it is.
yeah.
That, the revised budget, it means something different, and this,
Yeah.
that's really honestly what it sounds like to me. This is a process question. As soon as you get the man that's
is.
the expert at the process,
Yeah.
this will be a 20-minute conversation, everything will be made clear. and
Well, I hope so,
something's
because
gonna
like I
come out.
said, when you look
Okay.
at it, that's where it
Okay.
comes in. And
All
there's
right.
also a difference between adopted budgets on the revenue report and this one, so I don't have those answers.
Yeah, okay, anything else on the school financial reports?
Not for this.
I do have a question for Peg, though.
Okay.
No,
Hey, just when you thought you
this is simple, Peg.
Yes, no, maybe? All right.
It's
Bob.
June 28th, you got a public hearing,
Yes,
and you're gonna take $50,000 out of the capital reserve for the
special ed,
special ed.
right.
Why?
Because if you look at, is this June? If you look at, let's see, what page
Look
is
at the bottom
special ed
line.
on? We are over in special ed, which is basically to be expected. Okay, yeah, we're $114,986 over.
Page number, line number?
I'm sorry, it's page number 6, and it's just way down at the bottom. I'm just looking at the total line. I have certainly gone over all of the overages.
Okay, because I'm looking at your bottom line here for the month of May, and you got 1.05% left remaining, so is that part of the,
Well, it may not be quite
because you
that
still got the
much.
month of June to
Yeah.
go through.
Yep.
No,
So,
that's a-
Doug?
I hate to tell you, that number isn't accurate.
Which one?
The
What we
bottom
have
line.
left over, it's a lot, we have a lot less than you think we
Yeah.
have.
And why is it,
Why
Well,
does it say
that report's wrong.
105,000?
Well, because it's,
We're closing the books.
Yeah.
It's because that's not the last report.
I know, I was just
Right.
basing it on
Okay.
what I have
Right.
here. I know
Yeah.
the June report's not in there,
So
Doug.
the decision we made, we're gonna meet Friday, and we're waiting for our final figure. This budget is gonna be really close.
Yeah.
Real close.
So,
And if we go into a deficit, we're gonna have to take that $50,000 out in order
So-
to take care of the bottom line. So there's gonna be no money left over that happens to give back to the town. Because our budget, it's gonna even be worse
That's
next year. with
exactly the way
default
budgets should work.
I'm sorry?
That's exactly the way budgets should work.
Well, it is, it
Yeah,
is.
you should
We're gonna
not
be in
be
trouble
giving
next
back
year. I'm
money.
gonna tell this board that right now.
yeah, next
really
year's gonna
tight.
be really tight, very tight.
There's gonna be no frivolous spending
It's
next
It's the way
year.
we're supposed to be working. If
No,
we
you-
give back money every year, we're raising the tax rate.
No, you're wrong, because more than half of that money comes in
No, we
as
already have
revenue.
raised the tax rate.
More than half of that money is revenue. You haven't seen go look at your reports that we've given back in the past years.
Money
for-
that we've given
A
back.
lot of it's been revenue. We have to give back because we didn't get authority. It has nothing to do with the operating budget. We gave 160 back this last year that came 2 years ago from the closure of the SIU. That money we could not spend. We did have money left from the operating budget this last time. But we're not gonna this time, the way it looks, unless something changes. The books haven't been closed yet. If you wanna come to the meeting Friday, you're more than invited. You're invited to come.
it's at 11
11
o'clock
o'clock, yep.
at the guidance.
AM.
Not guidance, but the
Community
library.
room at the library.
Okay, anything else on school financial reports? Okay, woo-hoo, approval of minutes, March 19th. Okay.
I'm giving up on minutes.
Do you have it, do you have the copy? I gave everybody a copy.
I know, but I don't know if there were any changes. I mean, I saw them on Google Drive and couldn't tell if there were any changes. And the only changes that I ever saw were the ones that I made on April 16th in red. And you said you made some
I
too.
made on top of them, and I didn't see the
Yeah.
changes afterwards, yeah. but-
So,
It was-
I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know how we can keep track of changes.
So there was more changes to this, March 19th?
No, we don't know.
I don't know. I have no clue. When we got the May ones at, I opened my email at 5 o'clock tonight, so did not have a chance to even look at them.
Do you need a motion to accept these minutes? Is that what we're looking for? I'll make that motion to accept these minutes.
I'll
March
second it.
19th as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
they
No.
should be as corrected,
Yeah.
because they're not as, they gotta be corrected, there's corrections in here.
I cannot vote for them because I'm sure there were probably some corrections, and I don't know whether they were corrected or not.
What you see right there, I printed these out just the way they came out off the top of this. okay?
Right.
I printed them out that way. I didn't see no
Well, I know, but that's part of the problem, is we don't know whether,
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't edit these things. Okay, I tried to get on Google,
I
I
know.
can't edit them if I wanted to. I didn't see anything in there, but nevertheless, I still couldn't get in.
My motion's on the table.
His motion is on.
It's
yeah,
been
we gotta do something with
seconded.
that.
I already seconded.
Tom took a vote.
Okay. Did we take a vote?
Not yet.
Yeah, you
Okay,
didn't,
we have-
because I said no.
We took a vote already? I didn't remember saying anything.
Because
There
I
was
think
no vote
about,
taken.
There was no vote
about the
taken.
time I said it, I think somebody had spoke up and said something. Do we have any more discussion? We have a motion on the table, it's been seconded, more discussion on it.
I've already discussed what my feelings are. There has to be a different process to be able to get the minutes, look at them, make corrections. You know, I do them in red, Humphrey does them in blue, you do them in purple, but then we get to see them.
We should,
I'm against tabling this. We're gonna start
Uh,
tabling damn things, I'm telling you right now.
well, wait, we got motion, let's vote on whether we're gonna accept the March 19th minutes. Got a motion on the table, we've discussed it. All those in favor of accepting the March 19th?
Aye.
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 No,
Opposed? Looks like it is 7-4, 1 against. To accept the March 19th minutes.
6-4-1 again.
6-1, yeah.
Oh, sorry, can't count, it's been a long day. Okay, let's see, if we go back to it's March, April.
Well, based on what I saw, I will make a motion because at least my corrections were in there. Sorry, Humphrey.
I'll second it.
Now, these are the ones you see, the one in purple that I added on, they're not gonna show up here.
Okay,
Okay, again, I can't go in and
yeah,
edit.
I know.
I only did that, they're not corrections actually, they're more for detail, so people get more clarity out of it, that's it. There's no mistakes in here that I know of.
Okay,
But I tried to correct them, I couldn't.
okay.
And it looks like the changes I had asked for are in there too, so.
Are they okay?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got motion and a second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the April 16th minutes?
Did
Aye.
did you get the first, whoever motioned? Was that, okay,
Aye.
yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstained?
Run away.
Okay, I think that was unanimous. 7-4. Okay, and the May minutes, we just received those just before the meeting. I would not expect us to have had a chance to look at those yet.
I'll make a motion to table the May 21st minutes. I'll second.
All those in
I don't see how you can table it.
the May minutes? We
May.
just
We
received.
just
We just got them at
Which-
5 o'clock tonight.
I never got to my computer.
You never got them?
It came out
It's in
late.
your email at
Yeah,
5 o'clock
it
tonight.
came out late. So as soon as I got them, I sent them out. Okay, so, motion on the table? to-
Second, yep.
It was seconded.
Second. All those in favor of tabling the May 21st minutes until our next meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
Okay, looks like it is 6-4 and 1 against. Okay,
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman? If they are sent to us in Word, you know, via an email rather than going into Google Docs and pulling them up and making corrections, where could we put them so that when you actually send us the monthly thing and go look, that we can actually see that, you know, these are yours, these are mine, these are yours?
The best way to do that I've found, and that's here and at work, is on OneDrive. We will have the minutes posted on OneDrive. You access them from there. You should, it should say somebody has checked these out, has retrieved this, somebody's editing it. If you edit it in Google Docs itself, it will tell you that. Or alternatively, you download it to your computer, edit it in Word, and upload it back again. And save, you have to, because everybody should have read-write access to Google Drive.
Okay, but you said that when you made the changes to the bylaws, that you
I was
uploaded them
I was doing that in Google Docs, and I think, but if you do it in Word saves the file. If you
Right.
turn track changes on, it will save everything that has been done.
right,
As long as you don't hit accept before you put it back up there.
Yeah, do not hit accept.
we're on
Oh.
Google Drive.
No one word. If you
In
hit
Word,
accept,
when you have to make sure track changes is on.
Oh,
Tracks
okay,
everybody's
in
changes.
Word, all
In
right,
Word.
okay, I got it,
Doing it in Word,
okay,
you can do it in Google Docs. I'm not exactly sure how,
Okay.
and after my experience of trying to load stuff up in Google Docs, it's got me a little nervous now. But with Word, turn track changes on,
okay,
you should be able to edit them. If the town had access or had like Microsoft OneDrive, it's very easy to collaborate with the Office product using OneDrive. I do it all the time. It tells you who's got the document open and everything. You can email somebody, tell them close that because I need to get into it and stuff. But anyway,
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, can I
Yes.
make a suggestion?
sure.
I had the same problem with my group,
Yeah.
my committee. And what I think works best, and still electronically, is if you send a copy of the current minutes and ask for corrections. People, and Peg is on that team as well,
I can make corrections.
will send me back corrections to the document that I sent out. I make the corrections when everybody chimes in. I send out the draft copy for approval, and it seems to work. Not everybody knows the ins and outs of Microsoft Office. They don't know Google Docs. They're not going to learn it. So, I mean, we can go through the frustrating, frustration of everyone not being at the same technological level, or we can keep it electronic and just do it via email. It seems
But
to
now,
work for us.
you make the actual changes
I do.
to the
I-
minutes,
yeah.
but you are not going to.
I will not have the time to do that. That's not gonna
So,
happen.
does that go back to Sherry then, and Sherry will be
I-
responsible for inputting them, or what?
But now she's getting 8 different copies of this document.
No, she's only getting the changes, not the document itself.
So how do you distribute the document
Oh,
to
okay.
8 different people and
Via email.
only give her changes? I don't understand how you do that.
You know what, your minutes are a lot smaller, shorter.
Well, and these are too long.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can't, because you're right, I mean, I will send you just,
Yeah.
Change
Yeah,
the
yeah, I don't-
words.
Yeah, these, I
yeah,
don't see
yeah,
that.
these are not,
I purely believe that we have to have an online. I don't see,
Like I said, it was a suggestion.
yeah,
If it
yeah,
doesn't work for it.
I wouldn't be able to take input from 8 different people and put it together.
alright.
Uh,
So Tom, what I will try, I will look at the May ones. I will track changes, make some changes, and then but I save it. I just don't accept it or whatever. I save it, and then I upload it to Google Docs.
Yep.
And then I'll let you know that I did it. So maybe you can check and see make sure the changes are
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
All right? Does that make sense? I mean,
We can try
I
that.
just want to make
I-
sure that the minutes and the changes
Yeah.
are getting in
I
there.
agree. If I could, Tom, because I agree, I think the toughest part is the fact that we should see it marked up, and then you approve it according to the markup, and
Yeah.
then that's just finalized from there. Somehow, we've got to see those to understand that the changes have been made.
Yeah.
So, because I hear what you're saying, Dennis, but I mean, if the document goes back and it gets, at least the final markings go out, here you go, you know.
Sherry, you being the recording secretary, do you have any, or, I'm not sure what you're talking, anyway, do you have any suggestions for how this problem can be solved? Of how you have input from 8 different people and something that's reasonably coherent and can be done fairly easily on everybody's part?
Well, as I think it was Dennis said, there's different levels of people that know how to use different documentation. In doing the meeting minutes over in Farmington for the school board, we use Google Docs. Everybody collaborates on that one document. You can see actually who has made what
Yep.
change. It's a little pop-out and it says, so-and-so
I've got it right here.
changed this word. And everybody can see that. At that point, then I get the documentation and I accept those changes so that everybody knows that those changes have been accepted in.
But we never, I mean, if I don't go back in, and I guess maybe my thing is I would really like to see that the changes that we've recommended or made, we can see.
Then the
I
And
only,
then I will not go back into
So-
Google Docs and make sure
Okay,
that everything
rather
is
than-
there.
It does
The other
show the
question-
changes, I was gonna help you out with that one. It does show the changes I made in here, and I did it online with his. And it shows the same way it does in Word, it shows it in red and
Yep.
shows the underline and it actually makes the note. That one document, I didn't change the document, I made the changes, but it shows that it hasn't been accepted or anything else yet. That would be where Sherry would go, so you could go in and see it. It's just that, I think what we have to do, Tom, is maybe you put an email saying, look, as of this point, I've only got, has everybody made their comments? If you do that as the chairman and just say, look, we've got till now to get your comments in.
Thank you.
You know, like till the end of
Yeah.
the week, get your comments in. If you don't have any comments by then it's going to be according to what we see for changes. We got to set a deadline, or we're going to be looking at minutes for the next year going.
And that bothers me.
So,
Yeah.
so shall we try using Google Docs to do our
It works.
or changes?
Works in Farmington.
It works right now. I mean, I prefer Word too, but it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and as I
will
said,
learn
I'll
how-
try
I
it.
will learn how to use Google
She
Docs.
said that, not me.
Oh, wait a minute.
I-
Excuse me?
Well, one of my things I found, Google Docs acts differently on a computer versus a tablet.
Oh, okay, I just
Oh,
have a
yeah.
computer.
Yeah, oh, it caused me to pull my hair out.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
So,
I told you I couldn't get on my
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, but
yeah,
I
you
would
can pull
make
them up
changes
on,
on
but
the
you
phone.
can't, trying to edit them and stuff is
Right.
a nightmare.
Yep.
Tablet doesn't let
Do
you.
you see me?
Okay,
This is happening
so,
all the time, too.
we still have a couple more minutes to get through.
Okay, phew.
For going forward, Sherry will send out the minutes. I'll let you know when they're available. We'll give, say, 2 weeks. After that, then comment period is closed. And,
If you want to see all the changes, go look at them.
Are
yeah,
you going to upload it into the Google Drive and that's how
Yes.
people will go in?
Mhm.
yes, it will be, what I'm trying to do is get all the documents we're going to, for, like, the next meeting will be July. There'll be a July folder
The
Oh.
June meeting minutes will be,
In
tonight's
Ju-
meeting minutes will,
in
that's how
July,
it's
because
done.
that's where we're
That's what
gonna,
we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that,
usually how it's done.
yeah, it's, so you're like a month behind in the minutes, but that seems to be the easiest way for me to keep track of, okay, this is all the documents I've got to have for this month's meeting.
And then once the June minutes are approved, it will say June minutes approved at the such and such meeting, then that final copy can go into the June
Yes,
folder.
Yep.
And you can either keep, I'll explain it later, Pat.
Okay,
okay.
okay, whatever you want to do.
All right, on to the approval of the minutes from the special meeting of May 29th, 2019.
I will make a motion to approve those, but that was the fire department first, right?
No.
Okay.
That was the
Police.
Our police department, right. I remembered being someplace.
Do we have a second?
I gotta go back and look at it for a moment, but I think we're all set. I had some comments.
I would like to thank Bob for writing this.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
He did a much better job than what I was going to do. I was going to say we had a meeting, no business was discussed, we adjourned. 'Cause
We had a
that's what-
quorum, come
Yeah, yeah,
on.
we had a quorum, but we opened the meeting, you know, that was gonna be my minutes.
Yeah, but you gotta have some type of content,
I-
otherwise nobody will know what the heck it is. That's all they did.
Yeah.
I did have some edits on it, and it's on there, and I don't know if you saw them when you printed them
I
out.
saw them when you won't see it here, I saw it there too.
Yeah.
I had to play around to get it, then I noticed his comments and I found the button to
That's what it
hit
looks
so I could put my comments, should be in there as well.
Humphrey
made corrections
Humphrey
in
made
there.
changes, and so did Bob.
Ah, oh,
So
Yep,
we can
shows
see
both.
all the
That's-
changes,
Wow.
they're in color.
And it shows you pretty much where that line
okay.
is.
Yep,
I didn't put what you said, but I didn't
Cool,
have it here.
man.
yeah, well,
It
but
works.
Sherry will see
It
the
works.
final
It's just
document
you
with
gotta
our
get people
comments.
to use it.
It's on, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with changes that are identified.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all
I'll
those in
observe it.
favor?
We had a
I'm
motion
sorry.
by Peg.
You're right.
Yeah, I made
Oh.
the first motion, but you said added with the changes, so mine,
Yeah.
should I,
If you want to modify it, you can do it that way.
may I modify my motion?
Yes.
I move that we approve the May 29th minutes with changes that are already in the Google thingy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain. I wasn't there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tammy, I think you have to abstain. as
Okay.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, I read
Okay,
Okay,
it.
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yes and 2 abstentions for the May 29th
You guys
meetings.
make changes
Meeting
in
minutes. Okay, and on to the June 5th meeting minutes.
Are there changes there, folks?
No,
I
I went
didn't
through it, and I
make it.
didn't see any
There
changes.
are no changes.
I will make a motion to accept the, whatever it was, June
June
5th, without any changes.
As
Second.
written.
All those
As
in
written,
favor?
thank you.
I'll abstain.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
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 And so it looks like 6-4, 1 abstention. Uh-oh.
Never mind. Well, I see that, I see a change.
You do?
Yeah, my name is Woods, not Wood.
Oh. Well, we want to retract that.
Just fix it.
I will retract
No, I
the
want that right.
motion.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Who seconded?
I did now retract my second.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve, Jesus, the June 5th minutes with the correction to Mr. Wood's last name.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll abstain.
And 1 abstention.
couldn't-
So we have
Couldn't hit the close button fast enough.
3, 4, 6, 4, and 1 abstention. There we go. That is updated.
Oh, we've already done 14.
Okay, yeah, and discussion on methods to review online documents. We sort of already did that.
Uh-huh.
Jumped ahead of ourselves. We decided we're gonna use Google Docs, collaborate using the collaboration features in Google Docs.
I did put it in there.
I will caution people that it behaves differently when you use a tablet versus when you use a computer. Caused me no amount of headache the other day.
This is considered a computer.
Okay, we've already talked about the joint budget presentation discussion. That got moved up because Ernie was here earlier in the meeting, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, their proposed date is the 14th of September.
that's the purple date, he said.
Yep.
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 There's only one thing, Mr. Chairman, we gotta get a
Yes.
feeling, do the board want to do? I told him, everybody has to say yes. Because if we have one that can't make it, it's
Okay.
not fair
Well,
to.
Yeah. So,
He in fact had the same problem where all the other dates
Yep.
that they talked about,
Ah.
at least one of the department managers couldn't make
Okay.
it, so that's why the 14th was
okay,
selected.
will there be anybody not here on the 14th? That's a Saturday, I think.
That's it, it's a Saturday.
It would probably be an all-day affair. We'll be going reviewing, and the purpose of this is the department head's budget presentation, so that joint meeting of budget committee selectmen, so we all see the same exact presentations. This is just presentation, this is not us voting on, this is what we think the budget should be. This is simply them presenting, us gathering information. We can always reach out if we have questions about why did you want this, why did you want that. Hopefully, we won't have a lot of that because we'll have sat through talking with the department heads about what makes up their budget, what the various lines are for. Okay, so if everybody is okay, I'd rather
Okay.
have it after them.
What it is, Chairman, I also mentioned something, I talked about the protocol I put in.
Yep.
I want to make, I think he's going to agree with it. What I want to do is just rewrite it and then have his input again to make sure, if you've seen it, if you remember it, there's everything that follows, okay? Because I want it to be in an orderly fashion. And the dates to finalize the budget has not been set. The selectmen need to know what dates we're going to do that. The presentation's important to get it done.
Yep, yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know if you want me to continue working on that protocol and
yeah,
keep you in touch. I send everything to you. Oh, you want
Yeah.
to do it?
Yep, no, you can continue to work with the protocol. That's for those that don't remember, that's basically how this joint meeting would be structured and run. And again, the idea isn't that we can't ask questions, it's that we
We have an orderly.
have an orderly method of doing things, so that otherwise you get, 15 department heads and, two committees in here and boards,
yeah.
and it could degenerate into a really long day, and so it's basically, okay, selectmen will ask their questions first. If we have questions, we'll ask them kind of things about each particular bit of the budget, and we'll have to come up with a rough schedule and work with Ernie on that okay, the library, the welfare department, who's going to go when, so that you don't have, library waiting all day to give their 15-minute presentation at the
Okay,
end.
he did mention that you suggested that maybe put the bigger budgets at the end.
And
And put the
we-
small ones in the front so they can get in and get
Yeah,
out.
yeah, and we
It's the
could,
bigger ones that's going to take a
yeah,
while.
yeah,
He suggested that
Yeah,
too. I mean, you talked to him about it.
yeah, a little bit. Does anybody have any concerns with that?
No time? I mean, I already put it in, and I just said 9 o'clock.
We'll figure that out. Probably 9.
I mean, if we're gonna listen to everybody's,
Oh, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta
Surprisingly,
get
it'll
a
go
good
faster
night's
than you
sleep.
think.
I think so too.
Some night.
I'm
Lunch,
hoping that we
right?
don't have as many questions
Okay.
because of the reviews that we've done and that we're going to do.
Whose expense is
Oh.
that gonna go into?
Tom's
Yep.
Tom's,
Bye.
Lunch.
lunch that day for us.
We'll
Yeah, that'll come out of our lunch budget line.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
line.
the lunch budget line.
What do you have in that budget?
Yeah, there we go. Ugh.
Yeah, we doubled it from last year, the lunch budget line.
It's always over anyway.
Okay, so let's see. I think we pretty much got that. The other business that may come before the board. Anybody? Yes, or Mr. Humphrey?
I know, and I want to address this as far as if you watch some of these meetings, whether it's watching a selectmen's meeting or it's watching our meeting, the public sees us and they have no clue in most cases, in almost all cases, as to exactly what it is we're addressing. I know one of the things, you had mentioned something a while back, and I know Ernie was talking about trying to get some new equipment. It would be nice to be able to have, when we're talking about a budget, to be able to have the budget be shown to the public, that that's what we're talking about, as opposed to looking at our faces, which, while we're looking at a screen someplace else.
Yeah.
We need, I think, to be able to have, whether it's you controlling it, but it would also be nice, so that we're not all having to deal with individual computers or on paper, to be able to have a screen that we're all looking at. Like we did when we went to the meetings with Chief Kraus and that, you can see what's on the board, you can see the presentation. We've got the money that's coming in from Atlantic Broadband. If we're gonna spend some money to make it better for the public to see things, it would make it so much easier if they could see that we're talking about the town, here's the expenditures, here's what we're addressing, and then they see us when we're voting or whatever it might needs to be, whatever needs to be done, but they can hear us, they don't necessarily have to see us. So, I just think it would be easier for all of us to be looking in one direction and to be able to focus on one thing while we're doing this,
Oh, I would have no problem with
you know?
doing something like that. It gets problematic when you're trying to do it using YouTube as your streaming medium.
Oh, I understand, we gotta come up with a
but
methodology for doing it.
But it's, the easier, more information we can get out to people, the better.
But even with one screen for us would make it better for all
Yeah.
of us to be able to run a meeting,
Yeah.
so that we're not scrolling at different
Yeah.
times or looking at different things.
Yeah, no, I'm all in favor of it. It will have to,
Yeah.
it's not something that's gonna happen by the next meeting, I can tell you that.
No, don't expect it to, but I know it's something, and it's something we can bring up with the selectmen as
Well, I
well,
was just
so.
gonna say that, Humphrey, you could bring it to us
Yeah.
on our next meeting.
Yep.
Well, yeah, just make sure you have the right meeting, because I think some meetings
No, I
have changed
understand.
around. But,
Yeah.
yeah, bring it to us, and,
Yep.
I mean, we do have the $5,000 grant, so
It'd be nice to spend it
I-
wisely for that.
I know there is some issues with microphones and background noise, and so, and our town administrator is, he's an IT guy.
Yep.
So, he could help us with some of them issues, moving forward.
Yep.
So,
But,
That'll go on whole business.
okay, do we have any public comment or questions? We got public here, actually.
Just kind of looking in.
Okay, it looks like our next meeting will be,
July 23rd.
let's see, let's go down here to July, the fourth Tuesday, right? Second,
Yep.
9th, 16th, how
23rd.
about the 23rd?
That's the fourth Tuesday.
Yep.
Already got it.
Next meeting will be the 23rd of July at 6 PM. Which I wouldn't necessarily not entertain a decision to move it to 6:30, but that would be a topic for another day.
Is 6 becoming an issue for you?
Okay, we'll see how July comes. This has been a really busy month at work. But anyway, we have a capable vice chairman here that can step in and start things off on me when I'm late tonight, for which I apologize to the board.
It happens.
Yes, it does.
Okay, do we,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Nobody gonna say no? It's
Yeah, I
unanimous.
want to stay here.
We're
I love
adjourning
it.
at, it looks like, is
41.
7:45? 41?
42.
do you have a question?
What?
We have to make a motion as to what time it is.
I moved it at 7:42 now.
My computer says 7:41. We're done.
I have 741.
But I'm hoping Sherry